Role and status of Rajya Sabha in Indian Parliament. This is an interesting and important topic, and this may find place in examination as regards various roles of Rajya Sabha. Now, the Constitution of India has assigned a very unique role to the Rajya Sabha. Through performances of the varied rules, the Rajya Sabha has secured a distinct place in our polity as also the constitutional setup. Before we discuss the multifaceted roles, let us understand the basic step, its constitution, its structure as provided in our constitution. Now, the composition of the upper house or the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, together with the President of India, basically constitute our Parliament of India. The strength of the Rajya Sabha has been fixed at a maximum of 250 members. Out of this, 238 members are from the states and the union territories, 12 members having a special knowledge or practical experiences in literature, science, art and social service to be nominated by the President. Now, the allocation of seats to the various states is provided in the 4th schedule of the Constitution. The representatives of the states are elected by elected members of the state assemblies in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. The representatives of the union territories in Rajya Sabha are chosen in accordance with the law enacted by the Parliament. At present, 2 union territories, namely National Capital Territory of Delhi and Puducherry, that is Pondicherry, are represented in Rajya Sabha. Now let us see the tenure of the Rajya Sabha. Unlike the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha is a permanent body and it is not subject to dissolution. This is a very important aspect of Rajya Sabha. But 1/3 of its members retire every 2 years and their place is taken by new members. That is, a member of Rajya Sabha who is entitled for a full term retains the membership for a period of 6 years. However, a member elected to a seat rendered vacant due to resignation or a death serves for the remaining period only. Therefore, the composition of Rajya Sabha changes every 2nd year, with 1/3 of its members retiring and new members getting elected for a period of 6 years. This is unlike the members of Lok Sabha, who are elected for a term of continuous period of 5 years. Now, let us see who is the presiding officer and his terms of service. The dignity and the prestige of this house is evident from the fact that the Vice President of India is its ex officio chairman. When the Vice President acts as a President of India or otherwise performs the duty of the President, the duties of this chairman of the Rajya Sabha are performed by the Deputy Chairman, and this Deputy Chairman is elected by the members of Rajya Sabha from amongst themselves. The Deputy Chairman presiding over the sittings of the Rajya Sabha in the absence of the Chairman. One aspect of the Rajya Sabha is its multifaceted role. For example, as a revising chamber or a body, Rajya Sabha has a special role to play as a revising chamber. Though the revisions have been few and far between, yet potentially there is always the possibility of a revision, and in many matters of national interest. Rajya Sabha has in our parliamentary system the authority to discuss the delay in legislation. In a number of cases, Rajya Sabha has recommended changes in the bills passed by the Lok Sabha, and those changes were in fact carried out eventually. Now, among some of the important bills revised that could be quoted are the Income Tax Amendment Bill of 1961, the Dowry Prohibition Bill, the Indian Council of World Affairs Bill of 2001, the Prevention of Terrorism Bill of 2002, the Delimitation Bill of 2002, the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Bill of 2002, the Representation of the People Amendment Bill of 2003, etc., etc. Of late, the goods and service tax is undergoing a considerable changes on the recommendation of the Select Committee appointed by the Rajya Sabha. The proposed land legislation bill also met with a severe opposition in Rajya Sabha, and it was subsequently made to withdraw also in 2014. Another important role of Rajya Sabha is as federal chamber. It is a significant role of the Rajya Sabha that was guided by the need for giving a representation to the states in the federal legislature. Rajya Sabha is a federal chamber where the representatives of each state are elected by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly of the state. As a federal chamber, therefore, it has been assigned some special powers impacting the federal interest. The Rajya Sabha, being the representative forum of the states, endeavors to remain ever concerned and sensitive to the aspirations of the states. In this process, it is supposed to strengthen the country's federal fabric and promotes national integration. Now, Rajya Sabha also acts as a deliberative chamber. There is a provision of nomination to the Rajya Sabha of 12 members noted for their contribution to literature, science, art and service. The high traditions of debates and discussions in the House have guided, and therefore Rajya Sabha is known to hold very informed debates on public issues, and it makes the proceedings relevant to the public welfare at large. Then there is a role for Rajya Sabha as a chamber of continuity. Rajya Sabha is a permanent chamber, not subject to dissolution, and 1/3 of its members retire every second year, as said before. It is a continuous institution in the parliamentary framework of the country. And this continuity was needed in parliamentary system to meet the legislative and constitutional contingency. At the time when popularly elected house may be under dissolution or in the process of reconstitution. As the Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, the dissolution of the Lok Sabha has a limited impact on the bills that are pending before the Rajya Sabha. A bill which is pending in the Rajya Sabha and has not been passed by the Lok Sabha will not lapse on the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Thus, the continuity of the Rajya Sabha ensures a significant measure of legislative continuity. Another important aspect of Rajya Sabha is as a chamber not concerned with the government formation at all. By this, what is meant is the government of the day is collectively responsible to the House of the People, that is the directly elected House, the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha, being an indirectly elected house, has no role in making or unmaking of the government. Therefore, Rajya Sabha is relatively free from the compulsions of the competitive party politics. But Rajya Sabha has a crucial role as a vibrant contributor to the discourse of the nation. Now, Rajya Sabha also acts as an effective smaller chamber in the sense it is a comparatively smaller chamber than the Lok Sabha, as its maximum strength is 250 vis-a-vis 550 in the Lok Sabha. Being a smaller house, it affords the opportunity for a close camaraderie and greater consensus building efforts among the members, that is, of the Rajya Sabha. Spirit of accommodation and adjustment among the members across the party lines therefore contribute to the effectiveness of this house. It also helps in better time management of the house besides discussions on wide-ranging issues. Rajya Sabha is also a very effective chamber securing executive accountability. Rajya Sabha, as a constituent part of the parliament, has been securing executive accountability through its various committees. At present, there are 24 departments-related parliamentary standing committees in Parliament, and out of which 8 are functioning under the direct control of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The constructive criticism and considered recommendations made by such committees have been found to be useful by the ministries and departments in formulating plans and programs for the welfare of the people. Rajya Sabha is also considered as a good chamber of ventilating public grievances. Rajya Sabha is the reflecting surface of the problems faced by the different states. Its members, being the representatives of the states, articulate the concerns of the respective states and their people. It has, through well-established procedural devices such as questions, calling attentions and special mentions, etc. Now let us see the legislative functions of the upper house. Rajya Sabha plays a very crucial role in formulating as well as changing and guiding the legislations which have relevance to the nation's social changes and promotion of welfare. Now let us see the details. For example, the ordinary bills. With regard to the ordinary bill, the powers of the both houses are coordinate and equal. A bill can be presented in either house by any member. In case of a disagreement to resolve a deadlock between the two houses, a provision has been made in Article 108 of the Constitution for the joint sitting of both houses. The President can call a joint sitting of both houses to resolve and iron out the differences. Such joint sittings are presided over by the Speaker of Lok Sabha, where decision is taken by majority vote. Therefore, Lok Sabha definitely has the advantage of its numerical strength. There have been 3 occasions in the past when the two houses of Parliament had met at a joint sitting to resolve the disagreement between them. The first joint sitting was convened in 1961 to resolve the deadlock in the Dowry Prohibition Bill of 1959. Again in 1978, two houses had met in a joint sitting in the Banking Service Commission Bill of 1977, and the third was held in March 2002 when the Prevention of Terrorism Bill 2002, and it was passed by Lok Sabha but was rejected by Rajya Sabha. However, ultimately the bill was passed in joint sitting of both the houses. Now let us see the financial powers of the Rajya Sabha. It must be said that the Rajya Sabha has a very limited role in financial matters in the Parliament. The money bill, for example, cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. It has to be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, and after it is passed by that house, it has to be transmitted to Rajya Sabha for its recommendation. The Lok Sabha has the power of either accepting or rejecting the recommendations, if any, made by the Rajya Sabha. If a money bill is not returned by the Rajya Sabha within 14 days of its receipt from the Lok Sabha, it will be deemed to have been passed by both houses after the expiry of the said period. Certain category of finance bills also cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. But there is no other limitation of the power of the Rajya Sabha with regard to such bills, and the Rajya Sabha has a full powers to reject or amend a financial bill as it has in respect of any other bill other than a money bill. From this, it will not, however, be correct to assume that the Rajya Sabha has nothing to do with any matters relating to finance. For example, the annual budget of the Government of India has to be laid before the Rajya Sabha as well, and the members have the right to discuss the same like the Lok Sabha. Though the Rajya Sabha does not vote on demands for grants of various ministries, because it is a privilege exclusively reserved for the Lok Sabha, but no money can be withdrawn from the Consolidated Fund of India unless the appropriation bill is passed by the Parliament also. Similarly, the annual finance bill also passes through the Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha has an important role to play in the amendment of the Constitution. Article 368 of the Constitution confers powers on Parliament to amend the Constitution. Therefore, the Rajya Sabha possesses equal authority and powers with regard to the amendment of the Constitution. The Constitution Amendment Bill can be introduced in either house of the Parliament, that is either Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, and it has to be passed by each house of Parliament separately. In case one house fails to do so, the bill fails through. There is no provision for a joint sitting of both houses to resolve a deadlock on a constitution amendment bill. This is an important aspect to remember. Now let us identify special powers of the upper house. One is regarding the legislation on state matters. As a federal chamber, it can initiate a central intervention in the state legislative field. Article 249 of the Constitution provides that the Rajya Sabha may pass a resolution by majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting to the effect that it is necessary or expedient and in the national interest that the Parliament should make laws with respect to any matter enumerated in the state list. If such a resolution is adopted by Rajya Sabha, Parliament will be authorized to make laws on the subject specified in the resolution, and that will be for a whole or any part of the territory of India. Such resolution will remain in force for such period, but this period can be extended by 1 year at a time by passing further resolution. Rajya Sabha has another special power of creation of All India services. According to Article 312 of the Constitution, wherein the Rajya Sabha passes the resolution by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting, declaring that it is necessary or expedient in the national interest to create one or more All India services common to the Union territories, the Parliament will have the power to create by law such services. Rajya Sabha has another important legal power, that is the approval of proclamation of emergency. The proviso to clause 4 of the Article 352 of the Constitution, among other things, provides that if a proclamation of emergency is issued when the Lok Sabha remains dissolved and a resolution approving the proclamation is passed by the Council of States, that the Council of Ministers, it would be legally effective up to a maximum period of 30 days only. That is from the date on which the Lok Sabha first sits after its reconstitution. This provision therefore appears to suggest that there might be an occasion where the Council of Ministers could be called into a session at a time when the Lok Sabha stands dissolved. Therefore, this proviso to clause 3 of the Article 356 of the Constitution relates to the proclamation to be issued by the President in case of failure of constitutional machinery in a state, and it contains a similar stipulation. Now, Rajya Sabha has an equal power vis-a-vis the lower house. There are some important matters in respect of which the Constitution has placed both houses of Parliament on an equal footing. To be specific, Rajya Sabha has equal right with the Lok Sabha in the election and impeachment of the President, that is Articles 54 and 61. Rajya Sabha has equal right with the Lok Sabha in the election of the Vice President, that is Article 66. Rajya Sabha has equal right with the Lok Sabha to make law defining parliamentary privileges and also to punish for the contempt, that is Article 105. Rajya Sabha also has equal right with the Lok Sabha to approve the proclamation of an emergency that is issued under the Article 352 and proclamations regarding failure of constitutional machinery in the states that is issued under Article 356. and even a sole right in certain circumstances. Rajya Sabha also has equal right with the Lok Sabha to receive reports and papers from various statutory authorities, namely Annual Financial Statement under the Article 112, Subclause 1, Audit Report from the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Article 151, Subclause 1, Reports of Union Public Service Commission under Article 323, Subclause 1, and reports of a Special Officer for the Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes, Article 338, Subclause 2, reports of the Commission to investigate conditions of the backward classes, Article 340, Subclause 3, and a report of Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities under Article 350(b)(2), and ministers belong to either House of Parliament have the same powers, and there is no distinction between the two houses in this regard. There is one important aspect regarding the party-wise composition of the upper house. This situation is very pertinent in current political scenario, wherein the ruling party and its alliances do not have a majority in the Rajya Sabha. This has created a rather unique situation where crucial bills are not being passed. The party-wise composition of the Rajya Sabha changes at much slower pace than in the Lok Sabha. Therefore, there have been occasions when the ruling party has majority in the Lok Sabha but does not have a majority in the Rajya Sabha, and it could be vice versa. The composition of the Rajya Sabha in fact changes biennially depending on the strength of a particular party in the concerned legislative assembly of the state at that particular time. Such a situation poses a challenge to the ruling party to get the legislation passed requiring special majority in cases as constitutional amendments, etc. This may affect the policy making of the government, or some bills are required to be passed by a Rajya Sabha also. As a result, the government of the day has to shape the bills in such a way that it would be agreeable to the Rajya Sabha in order to avoid any face-off between the two houses. Thus, the Rajya Sabha enjoys enormous clout